This is JoyNews Prime with me, Samuel Kojo Brace. Our headlines this are: the Food and Drugs Authority and 2 other state institutions raise concern over the importation of unregistered and unhygienic packaged baby diapers into the country and warn they cannot defend the level of toxin and skin irritant in it. Also, NDC flag bearer John Mahama slams government over its implementation of what he describes as poorly conceived social intervention programs that has brought more suffering instead of its promised relief to the people. We are home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Please stay with us for details. Now, the Food and Drugs Authority and 3 other state institutions are raising alarm over the importation of unregistered and unhygienic packaged baby diapers into the country. The mode of operation of these importers is to repackage and offer for sale without adequate label information on the diapers. In a joint press release issued by the sister organizations, the FDA indicated that the practice does not conform to the packaging and labeling requirement of the Ghana Standards Authority for Disposable Baby Diapers. My colleague Kweku Asante joins me via Zoom with details. Kweku, what is contained in the statement?
So, Brace, the FDA, the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Customs Division, and the Ghana Standards Authority have all said they've noted that there are safety concerns with these unregistered baby diapers. And according to the statement that they put out, the safety of the materials used for these baby diapers is checked during the FDA product registration processes. And as said, the FDA cannot guarantee the levels of any toxins, dyes, or skin irritants that may be present on registered baby diapers. In addition, the frequent handling of diapers, usually under insanitary conditions, can cause germs to enter the genital region, which poses a great danger to the health and well-being of babies and children, especially girl children. And so because they have not the ability to check on these unregistered diapers, these are the safety concerns that come out of it. And so they are urging the public not to purchase such diapers because they do not go through any rigorous checks. They do not go through the rigorous hygiene checks that the FDA, the customs, and other state institutions would ordinarily be able to go through before these products end up in the public. So already some of these have already found their way into the public domain, and the FDA and its partners are warning that there are serious safety concerns, and so the public must not purchase those ones that have not been certified by the FDA and its allied agencies. Brace.
Did they name any of that for public information such that people will be aware of these kind of diapers?
So as per the information we have now, none of them have been named now, but we know that there are checks that persons who are buying these products would have to do. They can check from the labels whether or not FDA has approved that. And if they are in doubt, they can also check with FDA itself and its allied agencies to ensure that these institutions have properly vetted and authorized that these products end up on the market. And so this is a safety concern. It's huge for parents. They have to take this in advisement. They have to make sure that they are buying from well-known labels and products. If they are in doubt, and if they're in doubt, they can check with the FDA.
Okay, all right, grateful to you. Now moving on to other stories. Some residents of Ho are counting their losses after heavy rains caused their shops and homes to flood. Rainwaters on Saturday swept through the town, causing havoc in the suburbs, downstream, destroying goods and properties worth millions of Ghana cedis. No casualty was recorded. Resident in Bankoi, Akpenamawu, Ajimakofe, Polyclinic, Ho Technical University, barracks, prisons, medical villages, powerhouse, and Donokoji, among other suburbs, suffered the effect of the floods. Almost everything in a textile shop and a Stina Na enterprise, popularly known as Awonye, was washed away by the floods. The flood water broke the back of the shop and swept through. No injury was recorded. The shop owner, Ella Ati, asserted that a small-sized culvert that had sections blocked with pipelines was a major cause of the flood breaking into her shop.
54 years.
I came to vote when I was 16. I am now 54. We have never experienced any form of flooding until the pipes were stationed there. I am telling the authorities, we have already lost our properties. But what happens if a life is lost? They must address this situation.
Some victims at Bankoi were seen counting their losses. They blamed recent developments along the Kabakaba Hill and the small size of the drains in the area.
Kabakaba Hills is now taking a huge development of hotels and houses. And you know, the rainfall flows from the mountain to the ground or the down here. And this is what we are suffering now. Because when you see the volume of water flowing from the mountain top down there, down to this place where we are now, it's very great.
How many miles? Make the mile.
It is overwhelming. Our chief was here and promised to do it himself. He took our pictures the first time we experienced the flooding situation and gave us some money. Until today, nothing has been done about it.
A team from the whole Municipal Assembly and the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, has been visiting the affected areas to ascertain the extent of damage. Ivy Maukbamo is the Volta Regional NADMO Director.
Officers are also on ground with myself. We are still taking the assessment reports and then the necessary actions that need to be taken for the final result. So that question will definitely be answered latest by close of day. Then we know the actual number of people that have been affected.
The Ho Municipal Chief Executive, Divine Boson, said the drainage system of Ho must be redesigned and constructed entirely to prevent future flooding.
We need a lot of drains in town. We must build a lot of drains to contain the volume of waters that are passing through these waterways.
NADMO has promised to mobilize and respond to victims who may need some relief after the final assessment. Let's do some politics now, because flag bearer of the opposition, National Democratic Congress, John Mahama, has descended heavily on the government over its implementation of what he describes as poorly conceived social intervention programs that brought more suffering instead of their promised relief to the people. According to him, the Akufo-Addo administration is more interested in prioritizing its electoral fortunes to executing pro-poor programs to improve the lives of the masses. Speaking at the Alumni Connect of the Tertiary Education Institutions Network, KNUST chapter, Mr. Mahama said the government has been insensitive to the plight of the citizenry.
Price increases, unending fuel price adjustments, an extremely weak currency, general incompetence, corruption, arrogance, and insensitive leadership, and criminal waste of scarce resources have made our dear country a living hell for the generality of Ghanaians. The NPP government's response has been the adoption of short-sighted and ad hoc, poorly conceived programs that have done more harm than good. NAPCO trainees have been abandoned and are owed many months of salary arrears. But of course, we all know that the NPP lacks prioritization, because I dare say that the money that was spent in buying votes and building ad hoc roads in Kumawu and Asen North could have cleared all the arrears of the NAPCO trainees and also cleared the arrears of the buffer stock food suppliers. But unfortunately, their priorities are different.
Well, the flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, is also alerting the Electoral Commission of the party's readiness to fight back electoral malpractices in the 2024 elections. He claims the EC is in a potential tangent to manipulate outcomes of the general elections. According to Mr. Mahama, the Commission's new Ghana Card Identification Directive will deprive some Ghanaians of their right to vote. Clinton Yeboah has more in the following report.
Despite the opposition from sections of the populace, the Electoral Commission is proceeding with the use of the Ghana card for the compilation of the new voters register. This leaves non-Ghana card-bearing Ghanaian voters incapable to participate in the 2024 general elections. The flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress describes the new directive as unnecessary. John Mahama believes the NPP will fasten on the bendable EC leadership and activities to retain power.
The new patriotic party led by President Akufo-Addo has shown that they are prepared to resort to electoral manipulation through the pliant and partisan leadership of the Electoral Commission to hang on to power. It is our responsibility to give expression and manifestation to the desire of the Ghanaian people for change by remaining eternally vigilant and ensuring that the change is secured through democratic means and that no effort at undermining the change through rigging or other form of manipulation will succeed. It is in this light that we in the NDC wish to make clear that we will resist and prevent any sinister plot by the EC to manipulate the outcome of the 2024 elections, even before the first ballot is cast, through the needless and ununderstandable insistence on the Ghana card as the only means of registration. The EC remains intransigent and appears determined to make it difficult for sections of our population to have their names on the voters' register by restricting identification for that purpose to only the Ghana card, which, as we all know, is not available to all Ghanaians. The problems of our country are legion, and the failure of this government have been spectacular on all fronts. To the young people of Ghana represented here by the vibrant members of New Stain, I urge you not to lose hope.
The former president was speaking at the Alumni Connect of the Tertiary Education Institutions Network of NDC at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. The Alumni Connect mobilizes leaders of the NDC and mentor the young members of the party for active political engagement. This year's event was themed Empowering Teen, Unlocking Potentials, Building the Bridges of Change. The president of the association, Selma Yuda, is admonishing the party's youth wing to join the struggle to wrestle power from the NPP.
It's not only just about teen, but also the youth in the country. Even if you are not a polling agent, you can mobilize people from your jurisdiction, wherever you live, wherever you work. You can preach the good word of the NDC, and you can preach the name of John Dramani Mahama, County Institute.
Reporting for
Well, the Director General of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Professor Amin Al-Hassan, is questioning why a broadcasting network run by the police service is not under the direct supervision of the National Media Commission. According to him, since the police is funded by the state, operating a television station could be regarded as a state broadcaster. Speaking on the 5th edition of the Joy Change Speaker Series, Professor Al-Hassan raised concerns over how the station was authorized to broadcast without the recourse to the National Media Commission.
We are all aware. If you are not aware, please take your remote control and scan your TV channels. You come across what we call police TV. Let's step back and go back to the Constitution and go back to the laws and go back to the reasoning behind certain Supreme Court decisions and extract what is a state broadcaster. It is simply an institution that was founded with state resources and is funded with state resources. That is how you can understand. And when you say this today, every Ghanaian calls, oh, that is GBC, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. But if the Ghana Police Service, for example, which depends on 100% state funds to operate, uses part of the allocated state resources to start a television station, and it starts to typically act as if it is in the business of broadcast journalism. I've seen some content on their channel where a policeman in dress with police uniform with a camera and a mic doing vox pop in communities on the channel, literally mean what we would define as broadcast journalists. Should we then call the police TV station a state broadcaster? If so, why is it not under the direct supervision of the National Media Commission? How could it be licensed, or rather better still, authorized to broadcast without recourse to the National Media Commission.
Now, it's the last day of the EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair First Clinic at the Achimota Retail Center here in Accra. The first clinic, which is providing solutions to your housing needs, is a prelude to the main event in September. Exhibitors have been offering amazing discount to patrons who are overwhelmed by the opportunities provided.
Welcome to the Achimota Retail Center, where the first clinic of the EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair is taking place. We've transformed this whole place to a one-stop shop for everything housing. Our exhibitors are excited. Our patrons are also happy to be here. Let's interact with some of them. Let's find out from them what they have on offer and what, UV resistance, non-inflammable, and free maintenance fee. What's your assessment of the first clinic of the EcoBank JoyNews Habitat?
It's not bad. It's not bad. In Everlast coming here as Interplus being the mother company, we've met a lot of people. We've done a lot of sales. We are ready to meet them after tomorrow. Yes.
You're ready to meet them?
Yes.
You're satisfied?
Yes, we are okay. We are okay. It's very good. And I'll tell other companies who are not on board to sign on board and come and do their marketing here.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Okay, great. So you just heard from a rep from Interplus. It's not just exhibitors who are excited. We have some patrons also here. And it doesn't matter the age. I mean, you can come here with your family and then have a good time here. Let me try and speak to some of our patrons. Hello, Mommy.
Hello.
How are you, Mommy?
I'm fine.
What's your name, Mommy?
I'm Matilda.
Matilda. Tell me, seeing what's happening here, what's your assessment? You like it?
Yeah, I am. I'm enjoying everything here. Seeing the different views and all that. I like everything.
Hello, Mommy.
Hello.
What's your name?
My name is Becky.
Becky, okay, tell me. What's your assessment of this fair?
Oh, it's a very nice fair. It will help you know the products that are available.
Yeah.
And then when you want to get the quality, when you come to programs like this, you get the quality.
Yeah.
So I urge everybody who wants quality price, quality. I've seen that we have the cities and buildings and habitats. So they are displaying a lot of things. When you come here, you will get the quality.
Yeah. To other stories now, and President of the Republic of Zambia, His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, is urging African leaders to back their talks with actions and necessary funding. He believes Africa can become economically independent if leaders can turn their speeches into actions. The president was speaking during a visit to Zoomlion Ghana's Accra compost and recycling plant as part of his state visit to Ghana. There is more in the following report. President Hakainde Hichilema was in Ghana for a 3-day state visit upon the invitation of his counterpart, Nana Akufo-Addo, to enhance bilateral relations between the two countries. The visit to the Accra compost plant was to see at first hand how the private sector is helping solve the waste management problem in Ghana and how that can be replicated in Zambia through collaborations. The president, after touring the Accra compost plant, said he was impressed with the kind of investment done by the private sector. He believes Africans must invest in technology to solve their problems.
We want to appreciate your innovative, ingenious mind around this menace called West. So I do believe, since you're already in other countries, I don't have to emphasize the point. We Africans must learn to work together. G to G, government to government, business, people to people. This encouragement I want to indicate to the Executive Chairman will become more visible amongst the current crop of leaders on the continent. A number of us are resolved that we must look out to each other for each other as we push the developmental agenda.
He urged African leaders to invest in priority areas.
Our continent for a long time was not allocating resources, alongside its own priorities. So there was, probably connected to the first question, there was a lot of intent talked about, desires talked about, but not matching those desires with the resource envelope. If you followed our conversation in Paris last week, we did discuss, and for me what was pleasing that a lot of leaders in the meeting there to look at the reform of the global financial architecture agreed that time has come to allocate decent resources to the priorities of Africa, development, jobs. You will see a little bit more convergence, a little bit more concerted effort amongst leaders. Instead of talking politics every time we meet, we must talk economy, investment, trade, joint ventures.
The group chairman of the Jospon Group, Dr. Joseph Siao Ejapon, said 62% of waste generated in Africa is organic and can be recycled with the necessary investments in technology.
Over the world, climate change and all the issues that are going on is turning the waste not as a waste, but a waste to a resource. Now, Global Outlook talks about 2.1 billion waste generated worldwide. Africa, our nature of food eating and habits and other things. In Africa, everybody eats corn. Everybody eats yam. Everybody eats. So the nature of the food that we eat, this is the characteristics. 62% is organic. Plastics.
Well, the president of Breast Care International has urged women to visit the hospital early to avoid losing their breasts. According to Dr. Beatrice Wiafe Adai, many women avoid hospitals because of fear of losing their breasts, a scenario she sees as appalling. She was speaking at a screening exercise at Kwadaso in Kumasi.
We still have a lot of work to do. A lot of our women are dying from breast cancer, mostly because of the stigma and the fear surrounding the disease. So we have to increase the awareness we are doing. It doesn't matter whether it's in the city or in the small towns.
At the breast cancer screening program, Dr. Wiafe Adai encourages women to take self-breast examination seriously because the death rate is still on the rise.
We are advising our women to do their own breast self-examination every month and then to take advantage of clinical breast screenings that we normally do, so that if there's a lesion in the breast, we can find it early and preserve the breast for the woman. A lot of women run away from the hospital because of mastectomy. They don't want to lose their breast. We understand. So if you don't want to lose the breast, it means you have to come early to the hospital.
She urges the media, religious and opinion leaders to help lessen the high level of stigma in various communities.
I'm appealing to the media. Please, you need to help us to reduce the stigma surrounding the disease. The more we speak about it, the more we showcase survivorship, the more we will get people to have the courage to go to the hospital when they see anything wrong.
You're watching Joy News Prime here on the Joy News channel. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back. All right, and that's how we wrap up the bulletin. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Thanks for your company. Good evening.